Everywhere on the internet is talking all about recession and how does that play into the housing market. It's no hidden fact that the Austin housing market has definitely cooled down between growing interest rates, supply issues, and the overall economy have slowed the sale of homes over the last month or two. But prices are still remaining historically high. So, how does the looming threat of a recession play into this? This is a question that a lot of buyers and investors and even sellers are starting to mull over. So should you go ahead and buy now? Or should you wait to see what happens? There is definitely a mixed pot of opinions on this topic. Everything from home prices dropping by up to 15 to 20% in an overinflated area, as well as the slowdown of inventory with a 5% drop. So what does that mean? Well, depending on the location that you're in, it could dramatically drop across the country, or it could stay pretty leveled out. So let's just focus on the Austin, Texas market, because that's where I'm at. That's why you're watching this. And there's been a small uptick in inventory even with the rise of interest rate, and we're at about 3.5 months of inventory. But home prices are staying relatively about the same. We are seeing some drops, and we are seeing some incentives for buyers coming from the sellers, and this will most likely continue to be the case. Now, with continued growth in the job sector, the housing market in the Austin area will continue to stay relatively strong. We've had so many large companies come into the Austin area, and more are still coming and making Austin their home headquarters. Just put out a video on a potential $80 billion investment into Lockhart, which is just southeast of Austin. You have another announcement that another big company is coming into Hutto, Texas. You've got Google, you've got Samsung that just announced for Taylor. And all these major corporations are making Austin home. So if you're looking to invest, the Austin area is going to be a great option. Rental properties are always a great option for those willing to make long-term holds. Now, with the growth in the area, we will continue to see an overall rise in property values year after year, about 5%. Nothing like growing equity and generational wealth while getting a little cash flow. For home buyers, it can be a little more tricky. Should you wait for prices to fall, with the house prices staying high and interest climbing higher by what feels like, well, by the day, and it definitely continues to fluctuate, goes up one day, goes down. But what are you really gaining by waiting, and what are you gaining by making that move and buying that home? Well, there's always a very real possibility that interest rates will continue to rise. And in fact, I read an article today that said that typically during a recession, the Fed will lower rates so that it helps the economy. However, with the inflation that we've seen over the last couple of years, they don't have any intention on lowering rates anytime soon, but they're still predicting that increase in house pricing. So waiting isn't necessarily going to benefit you as a buyer, whereas if you buy now and when that does take place and they do lower rates, you're able to refinance the home. Let's give you an example. $500,000 house at 6.5%, higher than what it is typically right now, but 6.5%, about $3,160 a month. Now let's take that same home. They've lowered the price to $475, but the interest rate has risen to 7%. You're still at that $3,160 a month, But now that $500,000 house, you've lost out on $25,000. So you got to weigh your options, make an informed decision, reach out to myself, and let's have a real conversation on if it makes sense for you today, does it make sense for you down the road. So I hope that you found this info helpful. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Follow along for all things real estate. My name is Josh Parker, your Austin Realtor, born here in this great city of Austin, Texas. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see y'all soon.